Hi everyone. So if you've been refused or rejected US visa before after your interview, don't worry. This video is for you. So the key is to not repeat the same mistakes you made at that refusal session. So be intuitive about why you were refused and just not only focusing on the letter that you were given, but you participated in the interview, so you would feel why you were refused. So today I'll share with you how I helped an applicant get his US visa approved after two previous refusals. Yes, after two previous refusals, he got this visa at this time with these tricks I'll be sharing with you. So stay tuned. So welcome back to my channel, Visa Talks with K. So today we'll be diving into the best trick to overcome those past rejections and ace your next US visa interview. I'll be talking based on, of course, I mentioned how I helped an applicant get his US visa approved after two previous refusals. So let's get started with the key tricks or the best tricks we use in getting this visa at this time. So the first thing we did basically was to understand the reasons for the rejection, right? Of course, like I mentioned, the reasons go beyond just what is written on the paper, because that blue or pink paper, as the case may be, are usually just a generic reason. They don't give specifics. They just bring it out and say you've been rejected, that's always a bad experience for people, right? But you understand the reasons personally. So you being the primary applicant, you've attended the interview, you faced the consular officer, you would have a feel of one key thing that could have resulted in that visa refusal. So for this application that we treated, when we asked about why and what did the applicant feel like the reason was for him, so he mentioned that yes, his purpose of visit was actually queried. Basically, not directly, they asked him what he wants to go and visit, why he wants to go and visit the US. He mentioned that he was going for tourism, and the visa officer asked, okay, what specifically you were planning to do in terms of tourism. He was like, oh, he's visiting XYZ places, and what have you. And based off of that, the consular officer said, oh, sorry, we can't give you visa at this time. So understand the reasons for your rejection. So when we understood that reason, we felt like, okay, rather than just saying tourism, we advised him to get registered for a conference that is related to what he does professionally in his own country. And of course, we did that. We researched, we got a conference that we paid for, and we got an invitation letter. So that invitation letter was what he used while declaring his intent to visit the US at the time he got the visa approved by the consular officer or by the embassy, as the case may be. So the second point is basically to strengthen your application. So you, of course, again, this I've seen cases where people just go with the same document, the same set of application they used the last time when they were refused, and they got it the next time when they visited the embassy. So this obviously would not be the one size fit all, right? It could be that you use the same document, but when you notice that there are gaps in your document, you need to strengthen that document. So for this applicant, we actually used the same document he used before because we saw strength in his document. So he, of course, he went along with his bank statement, he went along with evidence that he's working in his home country, he went along with letters of introduction, he went along with his ID card. He actually wore his ID card. During the previous application, he mentioned that he didn't go with his ID card, so we advised him this time that he should wear his ID card on his neck, so it's properly clear and it's open when he's been interviewed by the consular officer. So again, just to also say, our experience with the US visa interviews that most times the consular officers don't even check documents at all. They don't even say, oh, okay, let me check your bank statement and all. They just make their decision based off of that physical interaction they have and what you've actually filled on the DS-160 form, which of course they have open at the back end when they are talking to you during the interview process. So one also thing that was really peculiar about this application was that while they asked him what the purpose of visit was, they actually, so he said, oh, he was going to the US for a certain conference, and they asked him where is the invitation letter, and he presented it to them. So that was the only document, aside his international passport, of course. That was the only document the consular officer requested for. So imagine if he hadn't gotten an invitation or something, then that would have also been a block and you would have refused the third time. So strengthen your application. Go with all the necessary documents that would prove your case. You are married, go with your marriage certificate. If you have work, go with details, documents that shows that work you actually claim to do. So that would actually buttress your success, or that would actually strengthen your success to getting the US visa. Yes, so another thing we did, and again for this person, he applied all by himself basically, right? So he applied for those two applications. He applied all by himself. So on the third application, when he came for our help, we actually did, because it's standard procedure for us, we do always a mock interview. A mock interview that would not necessarily tell you what you need to say, because we hear people say, just tell us what we need to say. Then it becomes more like a crammed answer, which would not be read, in your interview process. So we have a practice section, which is the third trick we used, a practice interview session, which we call mock interview. We asked him and he answered. So when he answered, we knew some gaps, we heard some gaps in the way he responded. So we corrected him and we gave him some ideas of how you can relate well when he's asked certain questions. So always practice. Practice makes perfect, right? Always practice your response. Always practice what you are going to say when asked certain questions at the consular session. So basically, again, this is a disclaimer. You don't need to lie about what you're going to do in the US, right? We'll be talking about that in the next video. Okay, so yes, in terms of being honest and transparent, this is very important. Though, of course, this guy didn't actually show any proof of false information. Basically, in his two previous applications, it was truthful, and we didn't need to change any information at all that he had provided before. Significant change, right? It was just basically the visa application, visa purpose, purpose of visit, right, to the US. So be transparent, be honest in your visa application process. What we usually advise people is that you don't need to lie to get visas, because if you lie and you get caught, you get banned. Most time 5 years, 10 years, and it actually affects the whole credibility of the application moving forward. Not just for that country, but countries that share immigration information, so countries that share visa application information among them. So when you fail in one, you lie in one, and you get banned, and it affects all other countries that are in that alliance together. So you need to be transparent. You need to be honest in your visa application. That's actually key to anything you do. For US, for other applications, you need to be transparent. So that is a trick that I would like to share, moving forward, because when you are transparent, then you are original in terms of your interview questions when they're asking you. So you don't necessarily look like you've crammed it and you're saying it, right? But if it's what you do regularly that you have put in your DS-160 form, then be rest assured that even when they wake you up from sleep, you are there to give them 100%, 101% of that information being requested for. But if you lie, then of course those tendencies of you stammering and trying to look like you're cramming and saying, if we really over practiced to respond to those questions, will be detected during the visa interview session, and that could actually lead to a denial at the end. So of course, yes, another basic trick, which is of course causing across all levels, is that you need to be confident and you need to stay calm during your interview process. So basically, if you're not calm and confident, of course, it could raise a red flag for anyone interviewing you at that time. So be confident. Of course, this applicant was actually quite confident, because all the information he provided were true and not false. So that actually gave him much more confidence on why he needs to visit the US and why he will be visiting at that time. So be confident and be calm during your visa interview process, so that you are sure to get your visa approved at the end, and also you are sure to convince the consular officer interview at that time. Okay, so another useful trick I would advise is that timing your reapplication is all that matters, right? Give it at least 6 months before your previous US visa refusal, before you apply again. Peculiar to Nigeria right now, getting appointments are even very, very difficult. So it could even take you up to a year to get a new appointment if you've been previously refused before. But luckily for this guy, we were able to get an appointment after the 7th month of his refusal. So that gave us, of course, enough time for him to get his house together and prove an improvement in his status before he got this visa finally. So always give gaps. Don't make it look like the embassy will have a sense of desperation from you because you keep reapplying when there is no significant change in your socioeconomic status at the time of the previous refusal. So give time for your new application. So the timing for your application is all that matters when you are trying to apply for a visa, particularly for US if you've been previously refused. Okay, so guys, so there you have it. The best trick to overcome previous US visa rejection. So analyze your past application, strengthen your documentation, practice your interview, address previous issues raised directly when you were interviewed and when you were refused your visa, and always stay positive. So guys, if you find this video very helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Please also don't forget to subscribe for more travel tips. So good luck in your visa application, and we'll see you in the next video. Safe travels and bye bye.